first week of eclipse season, baby. Let's do this thing. I'm pretty stoked about the astrology for August 25th to the 31st. I'm going to walk us through day by day, and I'm going to give us what we can really work with this week. It is eclipse season. So that's going to be the overarching kind of container that I want to hold us in this week or in this conversation. I also would love to invite this to be a journey for you. Let all of these upcoming week ahead astrology conversations be a journey, like a soul sojourn. You are about to go and discover gifts and jewels and magical things about yourself in hidden territories that you did not know. That is part of what eclipse does, is it reveals hidden parts of self. We are going on this big, beautiful journey together in the next couple of weeks. If you are not a subscriber, this might be the time that you want to hit subscribe and ding the bell to be notified, because we are going on a journey, really and truly. I want to walk us through this 8-week portal. It really is an 8-week portal in the best way that I can. It's kind of my gift. Pay it forward, pay it back to our community. I love eclipse seasons. I have some weird connection to them. I should look at my birth chart. I wonder if I was born under an eclipse. Could be. I don't know. But for some wild and wonderful reason, I just really understand eclipses, and it lights me up to hold a really big space, give a lot of tools, a lot of practices that you can get the most out of this for you. So what does this mean? Get the most out of it. I want to translate that for you. These next couple of episodes, getting the most out of it. It is insights. It is guidance for your highest path forward. It's clarity, clarity on what is it that I am ready to walk away from? What is it that is in my highest good to walk away from? Clarity around what it is that I should be putting my attention on that will really fulfill me. All of this is about lining up with your highest path, with what it is that really feels fulfilling to you, what it is that lights you up like nothing else, turns you on, makes you radiant and joyful and glorious. I don't know that there's anything better than that. It's partially why I love eclipse season so much. All right, let's get into this. So we are under this eclipse umbrella. This fated veils are thin. We get to see things and do things that we normally cannot do. That is how eclipse seasons work. The mystics of old and many mystic traditions, know that eclipse times are great times of spiritual awakening. They are great times of healing. They are great times of karmic releasing. Yeah. So just that. Over these next couple of weeks of podcast episodes. No pressure on my part. No pressure on your part either. So under that umbrella of we're working in that energy, we're working in that container, I want to throw in the word alchemy. I really want to weave in, if we're creating this container of walking through these eclipses together, and what's here, what's the juice here, what's the insights, where's the clarity at, Sabrina? How can I align with my highest path forward? What are these psycho-spiritual gifts that want to wake up in me? I want to throw in a little alchemy, right? Alchemy, eclipses are very alchemical in nature. So eclipse season, this 8-week hot zone, it's very alchemical. Alchemy changes lead to gold. You're changing karma to dharma. You're changing gooey, sticky, icky, gnarly stuff in your system to absolute gifts of goodness and love and light to pour into the world. That's pretty good, right? So let's talk about this week. Let me give you an overarching theme for the week. We just had that new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. That happened on the 23rd. If you have not set intentions for this 8-week eclipse portal, go for it. Do it. Do it this week. Do it. And set these intentions around what is it that you want to attune to? What is it that you don't have to get real nitty gritty about these intentions. You just hold an intention of 8 weeks. This is my container to align with my highest path forward. Something like that. Because your brain cannot translate what's about to happen. Your brain cannot translate all of the soul fire that's about to be hit at us. So it's some sort of this is my 8-week container from now, whenever you're watching this, listening to this, until October 21st. Reason being, that's when the 8-week eclipse portal ends. It's on that new moon in October 21st. So you set this, you hold this intention, you hold this container. For me, I'll share some of my intentions with you. This might give you some ideas. You feel for you what's true and what like really, really serves. For me, this container, my intentions around this container are precision vision. This is so weird, but I've been literally every morning I'm walking and I'm repeating this, like vision with precision, like precision vision. I know that I can see much clearer than what I am. I know I let other outside influences like fog up what I know deep in my bones to be true. What I know is the direction forward. What I know is actually unfolding in this environment, not what somebody's telling me, not what like surface level stuff. That's one of my intentions for eclipse season is I'm really developing and honing my vision, like vision with precision. It's like medicine woman witch vision, like oracle vision, like I know what I know, right? And I can see what I see. And this is about not only my path forward, but it's about making like highest and best decisions for our community, making highest and best decisions for my team, making highest and best decisions around what is it that really truly serves to come through me in this moment in time. Things like that. A couple other intentions that you can feel into for this eclipse season is, may I release all that I have outgrown. May I release all that I have outgrown. Another intention, may I shed my snake skins that are meant to be shed with ease, right? 2025 is the year of the snake. We knew it was going to be a lot of radical change, a lot of shedding of the skin. Oh gosh, and now another shedding of the skin. Oh gosh, and now another shedding of the skin. So may I walk through transformation, eyes wide open. That's another one of my personal intentions. Some of these other ones are not, but eyes wide open. I want my eyes wide open, like I am full facing what is here. Another piece around this eclipse that you might want to feel into is reality. Now I know reality is shifting, reality is changing, paradigms are shifting, paradigms are changing. But let me see, this is almost precision vision a little bit, but it's like this, like what is real for you? You know, what is real? Like getting really real with self. Saturn's up in the mix and he can really bring some gifts to this eclipse season, some real gifts around, you know, that relationship you were daydreaming about unfolding in that way. That is not grounded in what it is possible for you to bring in this lifetime. See what I'm saying? Now, I love daydreaming. I love creating. I love being positive and being very, very hopeful. But there's also this question or this invitation in this eclipse season and this week as we're setting these intentions, right? We're still in just the first week of this eclipse season and we're setting intentions. And I'm just giving you a few to feel into. Not all of these will serve. It's a really good time to just grab a journal, grab a pen, and write. You know, what is this 8 weeks? I did an eclipse special. If you haven't watched that, go watch that, where I go into these eclipses deeply. So I did that special. Go watch that next after this conversation. We'll put links below and we'll link it at the end of this video so you can just dive right into it. And as you're doing it, really feel into what are my intentions for this eclipse season? What pops here? What sings here? Go through it as a buffet. You know, you're at the buffet and you're like, ooh, this one is one of my intentions. Ooh, this one. Not so much this one, not so much this one. Okay, so that's kind of our overarching energy of this week. If you haven't set your intentions or your container, even just consciously creating a container for yourself now until October 21st, I promise you it will be wildly powerful. Wildly powerful. You have this container where you're a little bit more eyes wide open. You're a little bit more paying attention. You're a little bit more open to change happening. You're a little bit more conscious to things. I like this little practice. I share this all the time. You've probably heard it if you've been around for a while, but I only go as fast as I can stay aligned. I only go as fast as I can stay awake and aware. I don't want to operate unconsciously in things. And eclipse seasons are times where we do not want to operate unconsciously. We want to bring as much of our awareness, as much of our presence to an eclipse season as we can. So even if you just say, I'm going to be a little more aware up until October 21st, you'll have a completely different eclipse season. I promise you, completely different. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where focus goes, energy flows. So things are going to automatically shift and change just because you're bringing your focus to this moment in time. You're bringing a little more of your presence to this moment in time. You bring a little more of your presence to this moment in time. You're then going to bring a little more life force to this moment in time. And the combination of presence and life force in an alchemical container like eclipse season, you become an alchemist. You become an alchemist. Pretty good, right? Okay, let's get into this, hey? Let's talk Monday. The week starts off in this eclipse window, very fated, very destined. This is all right on time, being perfectly delivered. Venus moves into Leo on Monday. That's pretty good. We have the goddess of beauty, of sensuality, she who really nourishes, nurtures relationships. She who is feminine, flow, creativity. She's moving into fire. She's moving into fire. She's moving into more bold, more courageous. She's moving into more action-oriented. She's moving into more unique expression and the courage to have the unique expression of the heart. That's Venus in Leo. Now get this. She's conjunct Mary Magdalene. This brings in sacred heart. This brings in a deeper, it's like a higher octave of Venus, right? It's like a higher octave of Venus. So Venus would be in the kind of lower archetypal realm, opening the door to feminine mysteries. And then you go another octave up. Up doesn't mean better. It just means it's different. You go another octave up and suddenly you're in Mary Magdalene mysteries. Do you feel that? It's another level into maybe a bit more grace, maybe a bit more mystical, Christ consciousness you start to get into with Mary Magdalene. So they're close together kind of all week. I'll get into exactly like when that's going to be happening a little bit later on. But on Monday, just know Venus moves into Leo. This is the same day that Mercury comes out of his retro shade, right? So Mercury is finally coming out of retrograde. Yes, he went direct before, but he's been in that shade period. He's been in that shadow period, that front end shadow of his retrograde. So he hasn't made any steps forward yet until Monday. But get this, as he comes out of his full retrograde, as he comes out and he's finally taking a new step into a new part of the chart, he is square Black Moon. Wow. This is deep sacred feminine. This is the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. This is going to keep Mercury on the straight and narrow. Right? It's like the deep sacred feminine demanding that actions forward, because we're ready to really move forward. Venus moving into Leo, that's a move forward. Like it's moving forward. Mercury, now out of retrograde shade, finally, is moving forward. But Black Moon is like in alignment, in truth, be honest. And this is all in Leo. So this is be honest about your true shining self. Be honest about what it is in your life that does not support your radiance, that does not support your full, unique becoming, how you shine your light in the world. Be honest. That's what she's saying. Be honest. Don't lie to yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. Be honest. Mercury is translator of the gods. So Mercury on Monday is able to translate the dark goddess. You're able to translate deep sacred feminine. When you feel into deep sacred feminine, if you're versed in the archetypes, which archetype comes to mind? Black Moon is the conglomerate of all the dark goddesses. You could feel Black Madonna there, you could feel Medusa, you could feel Persephone, you could feel Lilith, Kali, Durga, any of the dark goddesses. When you're feeling into what is the voice that wants to speak to me on Monday? Who is it that has my back from the deep sacred feminine on Monday as I start to walk into this eclipse season? Gosh, who am I feeling? I'm feeling Black Madonna for myself. If I were to feel into one, I very strongly feel Black Madonna for myself. Could possibly be because of Mary Magdalene conjunct Venus, making Mary Magdalene and that lineage very loud in the sky. This is a potent, powerful place. What we could do on Monday is we could get the journal out and we could just free flow write. What does the deep sacred feminine have to say to me? Or if you are tapped into different archetypal energies of the dark goddess, like for me, it would be Black Madonna. What does Black Madonna have to say? What is Black Madonna showing me? What is she telling me? The reason this is going to work well on Monday is because Mercury is translator of her language. We'll be able to translate the dark goddess in ways that we may not normally be able to tap into. It's like that slipstream is just really loud. It's really wide open on Monday. We can get very, very powerful insights. Sometimes the Black Madonna, I'm just going to say it, we'll say dark goddess because you might not pick Black Madonna. Sometimes she's going to share things that we don't want to hear, we don't want to see. She is really about your empowerment. She is really about you reclaiming parts of self that have been lost. She's about you reclaiming parts that have been oppressed or demonized or repressed. So you can think about on Monday, what parts of your feminine did your family system deny? Like my family system didn't super support the witch in me. I had to do a lot of work to reclaim that on my own. I had to work through a lot of judgment. I had to work through a lot of fear in reclaiming that on my own. I remember when I was a little kid, I tapped into the other side and I was speaking to my dead twin siblings, Mary and Marie. They were twins. My mom lost them before they were born. And I'm a little one and I'm speaking to them. I'm speaking to their soul. You know, this is like not a big deal. Let me tell you, that was a big deal in my family. I shut that off immediately and I never told anybody about any of these sorts of things ever again because it was demonized. It was judged. It was taboo. I saw that bad things happened when I talked about this just innate, natural thing I had. So think about that. This could be a good, remember I said this week is a shadow week. Did I say that up front? I may not have said that. Here's the warning. This week is a shadow week. Good shadow. Good shadow. We're reclaiming lost parts of self. It's part of eclipse seasons. There's also some really intense lineups around shadow. Okay, so that's Monday. Let's move into Tuesday. Tuesday, more feminine. It's feminine. It's straight up feminine, 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 feminine for the first half of the week. Now we have Venus conjunct Mary Magdalene. They're now getting closer because Venus just moved into Leo yesterday. She was at 0. Now she's at 1. Mary Magdalene's at 2. They're getting closer, tighter. She is in a T-square with Pluto. So she's opposite Pluto. You want to know what that is? That's like Persephone territory. That is now deep sacred feminine. That is now the dark masculine initiating the feminine into the parts of herself that terrify herself. That is Pluto dragging her into the underworld and saying, there is so much more to you. There is so much more. Let me help you to become the queen that you are. I am going to show you the parts of yourself that you feel shame around, that you are afraid of, that you have been demonized or judged or whatever by family systems, by culture, by society, by your past lives. I am going to love them into the light. That's Pluto's gift. Pluto opposing Venus. That could be a fun find. Again, more shadow work. More shadow work. This is reclamation. This is reclamation of parts of self. They are all lined up so perfectly for this week. Now, Venus, this is a T-square I said, so she's opposite Pluto in a square with Sekhmet and Haumea. Haumea, Hawaiian goddess of fertility. Sekhmet, Egyptian goddess of you better walk your true north path, sunshine. Sekhmet's another dark goddess. Haumea is a goddess of mystery, of magic, of fertility. She's a lighter goddess, higher voltage goddess, not less powerful though, but she's like, you're creative. What's your creative essence? The creatrix in you. I want to illuminate the creatrix in you. You are a creator. You are so much more powerful at manifesting, at creating your world, right? And Sekhmet is going, this is part of your true north path, is owning your power. Pluto, opposite that. I'm going to support you stepping into your power by helping you to reclaim the parts of self that have been lost, that have been judged, that have been repressed, oppressed, demonized. If your soul is kind of singing in this territory that I'm speaking to, if you haven't done the new human activation, that's part of our eclipse specials. The first activation is the new feminine. This is so crazy, crazy good for this week. The new feminine. You want to think new feminine. We are in new times. You want to think, what is the new feminine switching on in me? What is the aliveness that's coming on? What is the Shakti that's available to me now? No matter where we are at on our feminine path. For me, I will be doing the new feminine in my way. I can't watch my own videos. I can't activate myself. It's very weird. Could you imagine that? It's so super trippy. Like it starts to happen. I'm watching it and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, wait, that's me. But it's happening in me again. But it happened to me then when I was bringing it through and it's still happening. Like, oh my God. Like I have to stop. But I will be working in new feminine activation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I will be in my way. Like I've already been through the activation. I already know it. I already have it. And I'll just build on that and do whatever. If you want a guided practice, it's $197. Normally one activation in rewilding is $197. This new human program comes with 4. It comes with the new feminine. It comes with the new masculine, which is really good to do on Thursday. I'll tell you why. It comes with the new union. This opens you up to creation, creatrix, that Haumea piece that I was talking about. What is these untapped possibilities and potentials around you creating with creator? You becoming the creatrix that you were born to be, that you are meant to be, that you can tap into now. Those 3, and then it also has the alchemist activation, which we've already talked about. Eclipse seasons are alchemy. By the way, Merlin is doing a thing with Jupiter at the start of this week. They're kind of in cahoots. Jupiter amplifies Merlin. Merlin is the mysteries of alchemy. Great workshop to do also at the beginning of this week. Okay, let's keep moving on. So this is Venus. This is our heart. Remember I said at the start, I might have said this, I'm not sure. Our heart is where we want to translate from this week. Our heart is what holds the wisdom, right? So now Venus is in this place where she's with Mary Magdalene, right? This is opening up even more heart wisdom, a higher voltage heart. You know, if you were to go like lower archetypal heart Venus. Higher archetypal heart, Mary Magdalene, right? The sacred heart opens, the wisdom heart opens. We have all this heart energy open, opposing Pluto. So the heart can really hear the depths. The heart can really hear what it is that will empower us. The heart can really understand what it is that we're really called to reclaim in this moment in time. Now, the heart also translating Sekhmet. So the heart can translate Sekhmet, that Egyptian goddess of this is your path forward. This is your highest path. But the heart to be like letting your heart speak. Heart-based practices, heart journaling, speaking from your heart. Heart, what is my deepest heart longing for? Could speak Sekhmet. What is my true heart? That would be Sekhmet. What is my true heart guiding me toward? And then Haumea, if we were to feel, what is my heart longing to create? What is it that will open up my creatrix potentials? What is it that I must release or I must step into or I must do more of or do less of to really open up more of my potentials around becoming a creatrix? Heart's the way in. Go for the heart. And if you're like, I don't know heart-based practices, go do that new feminine activation and then do these heart-based practices afterward, because everything will be open and alive. And then come back and listen to this if you want some journal prompts or you want to feel into those different archetypal energies that you could translate from. Go for it. I know we're only on Tuesday and there's more. Venus, we have to talk a little more about Venus. So I've already talked about, she's opposing Pluto. She's trine and sextile, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Sedna. This is a lot of connection points to the heart on Tuesday. A lot of connection points to the heart on Tuesday. So we've talked about Pluto, we've talked about Sekhmet, we've talked about Haumea, we've talked about Mary Magdalene. Now Venus is also connected to Neptune, unconditional higher heart, love. The mysteries, the mystic, spirituality, all is one. That's Neptune. Saturn. If we were to feel into Venus trine Saturn, again, it's flowing energy. Trines are flowing, sextiles are flowing. So this is all like flowing. It's very easy. So now we have Saturn in a flowing aspect to Venus. This is reality. This is, I want to ground it in. I want to anchor it. I want to bring it into the 3D, the things that my heart is longing for. I can bring them in. Saturn's the gatekeeper between the unseen and the seen, the unrealized and the realized. That's Saturn. He's a great manifester. So that's really beautiful. And sextile to Uranus, great change. Great change. Great change. Being in a good flowing energy, like I'm open to revolutionizing things. My heart is open to radical revolution. My heart is open to new. My heart is open to change. My heart is open to awakening. Heart awakenings can be happening really, really strongly and really, really loudly. Maybe even just while listening to this, it could be happening. Listen to this section on Tuesday if this is something that sings to you. You can think about practices of de-armoring your heart. Right? Sometimes we're holding old shackles, old armoring around our hearts. This can be a time to take off some of that armoring and these old shackles and these old ties that bind. This could also be a time where we're healing old heart wounds. Right? We're filling in the cracks. We're healing old heart wounds. I think we'll move on from there. Uranus is conjunct Sedna, so this also makes Venus in a sextile to Sedna. Sextile, again, it's good flowing energy. Sedna is complete transformation. So when I feel into Uranus really being this radical revolutionizing new, a new awakening, heart awakening, it's whole body heart awakening. It's embodied, it's wholly integrated heart awakening. There is no cell in you that doesn't get affected by that. It's kind of what Sedna brings in, is the deepest depths, like the deepest oceanic depths of it is part of this heart awakening that's possible on Tuesday. Again, new feminine in that new human activation series. I would very strongly recommend it if you want a journey into this territory. Not everyone's called to go into this territory. Total respect for what calls you. You got to follow. You got to, like during eclipse season, you got to follow. And it's like following an intuitive knowing. It's not following logic. It's following, I intuitively know this is for me. I intuitively know this is not for me. I intuitively am called to this. That's where we really want to move from, is soul self. It's eclipse season, soul self, or this week, heart, wisdom heart, which is what we're talking about. Wisdom heart. So follow that, follow that, follow that. Okay. Wednesday, we have the moon opposing Chiron and Eris. This is more shadow territory. So remember we said this is shadow territory. Now Wednesday, we start to get into shadow territory. Moon in opposition. Opposition is tough, but tough good. Tough makes change. So when the moon is opposing Eris and Chiron, the moon is another feminine aspect. So Venus was kind of getting really like mostly, she's the archetypal pick of Monday, Tuesday. It's Venus, full stop. Now Wednesday, I would say it's the moon. So we're now moving into same thing, feminine, but now it's mother. It's more mother. The moon would be more mother energy. So now if you were to feel into that mother energy, that which is fertile, that which gives birth, that which nourishes, that which nurtures, not just things outside of ourselves, but also ourselves. Now we feel into the opposition to Eris. So the mother in us, that which nourishes us, that which, and it's also our emotional nature, our deep intuitive, like your moony nature, right? Like womb, you want to think womb, you want to think deep emotional states. Now that's going to be chaos and disruption for truth. That's Eris in opposition to the moon. Chaos and disruption for truth. I am going to bring chaos to your, moony womb, your emotional state, your intuitive place. I'm going to bring chaos and disruption for truth. For truth. I want you to get to the truth here. Another truth seeker. So like on Monday, we had Black Moon talking to Mercury, truth for the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth. Eris, she's a warrior for truth. She's a dark goddess. She's the one who threw the apple of discord at the party, right? Who's the fairest of them all. They all fought. And she was like, and I wanted you all to see what was hidden in your underworld. I wanted you all to see the truth of the situation. So that's happening, more truth being revealed. Should we have the courage to walk through the chaos and the disruption to see it? We have to stand like facing the tornado that Eris is and go, whoa, this is a lot of chaos, but there's some truth here. There's some truth here. There's some truth here. And you can kind of hold this symbolism. Where's the golden apple? Where's the golden apple? Like, where's the golden key? There's a key in here. There's a wisdom in here. Where is it? It's through the chaos. It's through the disruption. Now let's bring in Chiron, because Eris is with Chiron, so the moon opposes Chiron as well. Chiron's the great initiator, so your moony nature, your emotional nature in opposition could also be feeling an initiatory healing happening, a rites of passage, initiation into another phase of something. Could be powerful on Wednesday. Pretty good, right? So also on Wednesday is the perfection of Sedna. Remember we talked about Sedna. Sedna is conjunct Uranus right now. This is huge. It's really powerful. It's part of this like whole body transformation, depth, the oceanic depths, the mysteries in the oceanic depths, the feminine. She's very shamanic, also very initiatory. It was a shaman who actually, it was a dark night of the soul, right? It was one of those like deep initiatory journeys down into the underworld, but it was the under ocean, right? And the deep depths of the under ocean, under, deep. Very emotional, right? This is an emotional day, right? Watery, emotional depths. She's in her exact trine to Pluto. What does Pluto want to do? Pluto's evolutionary. Pluto's always standing there in your highest good. I want to help you evolve. I want to help you evolve into the highest beingness that you can possibly be. But I'm going to sometimes do that via a death and a rebirth. I'm going to sometimes do that via showing you the lost parts of self. I'm going to sometimes do that via taking you into some shadow work. I'm going to sometimes do that via chaining you up to my throne and whipping you until you understand the immense power that you have inside of yourself. That's Pluto. In a trine to Sedna, So just that on Wednesday. Do you see we're starting to get into some shadow work territory? This is where shadow work can be really powerful. If you don't have a good solid way of doing shadow work, our shadow work workshop is $47. You can use it all of the time with anything. It is one of those journeys that is, you get lifetime access to it, and you can use it for any time, anytime you're triggered, anytime something is bubbling up, anytime if you just want to work with, you want to hold Eris and you want to go, what does Eris want to show me? What does Pluto want to show me? What does Sedna want to show me? You could literally journey into that workshop 3 times with each of those different archetypes to see what it is that they want to reveal to you in the shadow. I actually remember, I won't share, that's like a weird personal story about bringing that workshop through. That's a good workshop to support you through all of eclipse season, right? Because it's going to get bumpy. It's going to get more shadowy. It's going to get more intense. We're just warming up in the astrology around eclipse season. And we all know eclipse is karmic, shadow territory, and dharmic, destined territory. Dharma territory. So there is going to be some shadow stuff coming up to the surface. Could just be a good support for you anytime you need it, anytime you feel to. Also could be really good to go into on Wednesday and again on Saturday, or pick one of those days because it gets really tight, crunchy on Saturday coming up. All right, let's keep going. So Thursday, we have, I love this, we have Shiva trine Mars. Shiva's one of the big players in this first eclipse coming up on the 7th. He's actually a big player in both eclipses, Shiva. Shiva's divine masculine consciousness, really powerful, really powerful. And part of what Shiva says is, my consciousness is so powerful that there's nothing it cannot penetrate. And in the penetrating of something, it will alchemize it. It will shift. It will alter the trajectory of it. This is quantum physics. We all know quantum physics, that if we put our attention, if we put our consciousness on something, it alters the trajectory, right? It alters the trajectory of that thing, that atom, that particle that they're measuring, right? It's proven. It's scientifically proven. Part of what Shiva wants us to do is really work with our consciousness, really learn to wield our consciousness instead of being like ADHD bouncing all over the place, right? I just listened to this beautiful thing by Gabor. I can never pronounce his name, Gabor Mate. I might be saying that wrong. I'm terrible like that. My apologies. Really, he just put out a book on ADHD and talked about where it stems from, like how it is a patterned response to things, not something that we need to take drugs for. I don't have the research on that. I'm not agreeing with that. I'll just share that as maybe a resource if that's something that you struggle with, or something might be something to I don't know, dip a toe into. But what Shiva is wanting to do, this is what I do know about, what Shiva is wanting to do is, no matter where you are at with your capacity to wield your consciousness to stay focused on something, he's going to take you to the next level. That's what he wants to do. That's part of the gift. So these Shaktis, these sacred energies, Shiva's a sacred energy, they all have wisdoms in them. They all have sacred technologies in them. Shiva's sacred technology, when you activate that in self, when you activate and you enliven Shiva technology in you, you activate and enliven a new level of being able to wield your consciousness with an enormous amount of power, an enormous amount of precision, an enormous amount of alchemical wisdom. You are an alchemist. You become an alchemist just with your consciousness. That potent, that powerful, that juicy. If that's something that sings to you, do the new masculine activation in that new human activation I was talking about. So that's activation 2, is the new masculine. You'll work right in that territory. Again, normally one activation is 197. There's 4 in there. You get all 4 for 197. This is Eclipse special. We only do this stuff during eclipse seasons because we love y'all, right? We want to make it super easy to do really cool stuff and support yourself in eclipse seasons. Okay, so that's Thursday, Shiva trine Mars. We also have, do I talk about this one? I'm looking at our time. Let's talk about this. This has more to do with the new masculine. So let's weave this into new masculine. We have Black Moon trine Jupiter, right? Jupiter is another masculine. That's Zeus. Zeus is kind of like overzealous, if we were to think about him as a masculine archetype. Zeus, overzealous. It's kind of full of self, right? He's an amplifier, of course, and there's like grace side of him, but it's overzealous, like full of self. I'm just, everything is about me, kind of like fills the whole room, and it's my way or the highway. That's kind of some Jupiter energy. So now if we were to think about that in relation to Black Moon, remember what Black Moon did for Mercury just a couple days ago? Keep you on the straight and narrow. Right? So there's a kind of both ways that things are happening here. One is Black Moon is in her beautiful sacred feminine gifting way. The sacred feminine, she very much initiates. She will initiate the masculine into a higher evolved state of himself. Right? That's part of what the deep sacred feminine does, is here's my gift to you. I might crush your ego a little bit, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you into your highest, greatest expression of self, masculine counterpart. That's the divine feminine, right? In her dark goddess form. Fierce grace. So that's what she's doing for Jupiter. Again, that new masculine activation can be very, very powerful in these ways of just next evolution, next greatest expression of your masculine. We all have masculine. We all have feminine. How well are they dancing together? How highly evolved are they, right? Great time to be bringing consciousness to that. Great time to be bringing consciousness to that during an eclipse season. Great time. Okay. Now they're also in a kite to the nodes of fate. Nodes of fate are what makes eclipses eclipses. Nodes of fate are always involved in eclipses. Nodes of fate are why it makes it destined. So it's interesting that there's a kite pattern going on with Jupiter, overzealous masculine. Black Moon, again, another energy of Black Moon, dark goddess, just going like, I'm here. I am showing up for this one. I am showing up. And it being karmic, fated, destined. This is part of your soul's highest path forward. These are consorts to your journey. These are guides, guardians, helpers to your journey when they're in alignment with the nodes of fate like that. All right, let's move on. Friday, more interesting stuff with these dark goddesses. Again, shadow work. It's shadow work. Like dark goddesses bring the hidden. Dark is not dark bad. Dark is dark hidden. Here, I want to show you what's hidden. I want to show you how much power is in your underworld. I want to show you the gifts that you're suppressing. I want to show you your golden shadow. I want to show you these potentials that have yet to be realized, yet to be brought into the light, embodied and expressed out into the world. So this is the Lilith asteroid is opposing Mercury. Remember, Mercury's translator of the gods. So now he's translating Lilith specifically. So it's translating Lilith. Here's what Lilith wants. She demands equality between the masculine and the feminine. This is a great day to actually do the third activation, which is the new union activation, because you've got Lilith, full power. I am demanding equality between masculine and feminine, demanding it. Either way, whether it's leaning too far into the masculine or leaning too far into the feminine, I am demanding that they be equal, demanding it. And then Mercury, translator of the gods, like that slipstream is open. Remember, slipstream is open. Really good day to do sacred union type work. Really good, powerful day to do any kind of masculine to feminine balancing in system, the new union activation, or other things that you might feel called to do on your own. All right. Saturday, we go back into shadow territory. Not that wasn't shadow territory. We go deeper into shadow territory. The sun opposes Kali, the great ego slayer. The sun is the ego. The sun is conscious self. It's the ego opposing Kali. This is a day we want to do shadow work because it is really taking off your head. It is slaying the ego. This is your little self. This you're done with. This is what's holding you back. These belief systems, these paradigms, these who you are identified with is not who you actually are. It's Kali. She is a great spiritual awakener. She will awaken you to your true self, to your full spiritual self. She'll stop at nothing to do it. She's fierce grace. So that's Kali opposing the sun on Saturday. was just thinking about our Kali retreat. We have a Kali online retreat. I think we'll open it this week. That was not planned at all. We'll open that this week. I feel like we'll open Kali as a support. Yeah, I was trying to think if there was anyone else that I felt like we could open a retreat to. So our shadow work workshop can be really powerful for shadow work. If Kali as an archetype is singing to you, there's a 5-part retreat that will take you into 5 Kali journeys, 5 Kali activations. If Kali is an archetype, if this conversation is singing to you, we'll open that retreat door for 1 week only this week. We'll close it on the 31st of August. We'll put a link directly above and below to that Kali online retreat. So again, it's only going to be open this week though. Okay, so Sun opposes Kali on Saturday. This is also while Mercury trines Eris. We've already talked about her. Chaos and discord for truth. And then Mercury trines Chiron, shamanic initiator. Also, Chiron is our deepest wounds. Underneath our deepest wounds lies our greatest gifts. Chiron is the wounded healer. This is the wound that just will never heal. But just because the wound that will never heal won't heal doesn't mean that it isn't perfect, doesn't mean that it's not part of your destiny path. I would actually put Chiron in one of the top 5 destiny points in an astrology chart. I really would, because he's very much part of the soul path, very much part of this is your soul's journey. This is your soul journey. This is what you signed up for. This is very destined. This is actually dharmic. And you move from karma around this wounded healer to dharma. You become in the highest expression of that core wound, that deep wound, that unique personal wound of yours. It becomes this real gifting to yourself and to the whole of the world. So now we go into a little bit deeper. This is why I was pausing on the Kali thing before. Here we go. We go a little bit deeper into shadow territory, into dark goddess territory. We have Persephone. This is the consort to Pluto. If Pluto's king of the underworld, Persephone's queen of the underworld. She's the one who is part of the initiating you into your full queenness. So Persephone is square to Sedna and square to Medusa. She's in a T-square to Medusa and Sedna. That's all dark goddesses, right? Sedna, deep underworld. She's conjunct Uranus. Uranus being in this mix, he's a Kundalini awakener. He's the one who brings in the Kundalini awakening to these 3 Shaktis, to Medusa Shakti, to Persephone Shakti, and to Sedna Shakti. He's literally like, I will give you the electricity that you need to wake up your Medusa, your Persephone, and your Sedna. We're going to work with Sedna in the September 1st Bones workshop. That's Bones membership. We do tons of eclipse stuff. There's a 2.5-hour deep dive that's included as a bonus this month for Bones membership. If you want to work with Sedna, we're going to take this archetypal journey into the deep underwater currents. So sign up before the 1st. That workshop happens on September 1st. You'll find details of that below. And you're welcome to just join for a month, join for a lifetime, join for a year. Just come check it out. We hold our space very tightly for eclipse season. So if you want to be held the whole way through that 8-week portal, Bones is where it's at. Okay, so that's the Medusa, Sedna, Persephone. Now, come Sunday, Jupiter gets really close to being conjunct Parvati. This will actually happen perfectly on the 1st, so we'll talk about this next week. We'll also talk about that first eclipse next week. The first eclipse is happening on the 7th. So next week, we'll do another one of these big deep dive journeys, this big, like, how can we support your soul path through this eclipse season? But we'll dive further into that, but I'll give you like just a little bit of a sneak peek around this because it starts to build on Sunday. Jupiter conjunct Parvati. So actually, I want to see if that's Parvati or if that's, wow, that's magic. Parvati, Shiva's consort. Shiva had many consorts, but Parvati is the fullness of the feminine, the fullness of Shakti. So if it's Shiva, it's Shakti. And Parvati holds not just the fullness of the feminine, she also holds within herself the fullness of the masculine. She is whole unto self. So again, this is supporting that union work. This is supporting like that new union activation, that third activation in the new human. Sunday's another really good day to be doing that type of work, that activation, should you dive into the new human. Jupiter conjunct Parvati. Jupiter amplifying, like bringing. Jupiter's also a grace bomb. I know we talked about his shadow side before, but his light side is he's a grace bomb. He's a good luck charm. Grace bomb, good luck charm. Conjunct Parvati, sacred marriage, sacred union. Whole unto self. You seamlessly, gracefully, easefully hold the fullness of the masculine, the fullness of the feminine within yourself, and you seamlessly, easefully, gracefully can let go of the masculine and just fully move into your feminine. You can let go of your feminine and fully move into your masculine. That's Parvati. That's part of her initiatory gifts. Remember I said they all have sacred technologies that they wake up in you. It's part of what Parvati wakes up in us. So those two are trine, and now get this, Jupiter conjunct Parvati, trine the black moon, and again, we'll talk more about this next week, trine and sextile the nodes of fate. It's fated. It is fated. It is eclipse time. It is fated. It is destined that the union in all of us is ready to move to the next level. My gosh, it's been amazing to be here with you. Go check out our Eclipse specials. Would love to see you in Bones membership live circle on the 1st of September. That's that deep journey into Sedna to support this eclipse moment in time. 2.5-hour eclipse deep dive. You can really go for it in that inside of Bones. Next episode to go watch the Eclipse special. Right? It's the next episode. It's on YouTube. Just click the link. Go dive into that Eclipse special. Set your intentions this week. It's the first thing you want to do is set your intentions this week. Go watch the Eclipse special. It'll help to give you a buffet to really solidify those intentions for you. All right. Have an amazing week. I will see you where I see you, when I see you, and how I see you. I'm always in the comments the first couple of days. So if there's anything at all that you want to weave into the conversation, please do. Mwah.